Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today we're looking at how you, the learner, can really unlock some serious power for managing inventory using something you probably already have, open Microsoft Excel.
Yep.
We've got a focused set of interview questions specifically about Excel inventory techniques, and our goal is pretty simple. Pull out the most useful, practical stuff you can use, like, right away.
Exactly. Think of it as, a shortcut to smarter inventory. It's kind of amazing what it can do. Did you know a simple Excel trick can tell you the total value of everything you've got in stock, like right now?
Wow.
Or even automatically warn you when you're about to run out of something critical. Let's dig in.
Okay, so at its core, Excel is obviously great for just keeping track, right? What you have, how many, where it's going. That's the basic foundation.
Formulas, charts, conditional formatting, all the building blocks are there.
And you mentioned knowing the total value. How does that work?
Yeah. That's the sum product CT formula. It's surprisingly straightforward. You just give it your quantity range and your price range, and bam.
It multiplies and adds it all up.
Exactly. Quantity times price for each item then sums the total. Instantly you see, okay, this is where most of my money is sitting in inventory.
Yeah.
It really helps focus your management efforts,
That makes sense. And avoiding running out, those stressful oh no moments?
Right. That's where conditional formatting is brilliant. You set a rule, like, if this cell's value is less than my reorder level.
Make it red or something.
Precisely. Make it stand out. It's a visual alarm bell. No more missing that you're low on, say, your best-selling widget. It prevents stockouts proactively.
Okay, so we're tracking, we're valuing, we're getting alerts. But what if you have a ton of data? It can get overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where pivot tables are just indispensable. They take huge lists of inventory data and let you summarize it instantly.
How so? Like by category?
By category, by warehouse location, by supplier, whatever makes sense. You can quickly see trends like, oh, sales of this category spiked last month without drowning in rows and rows of data.
So turning data into actual information, but garbage in, garbage out, right? How do you keep the data accurate in the first place?
Good point. Data validation is key there. You can set rules for specific cells or columns.
Like only numbers allowed in the quantity column.
Exactly. Or maybe for category, you force users to pick from a drop-down list you define. It just cuts down on typos and inconsistencies massively, stops errors before they mess up your reports.
Got it. Speaking of finding stuff, what about quickly looking up, say, the price of item X?
VLO OOkup.
Yeah.
Classic Excel. You tell it what item code to look for, where your master list is, and which column has the price, and it just pulls it right into your current sheet.
Saves a lot of scrolling or manual searching.
Definitely. Though we might talk about index match later as a potentially more robust alternative, but VLOOP is the go-to for many simple lookups.
Okay. And what about when your inventory list grows? Do you have to keep updating all your formula ranges? That sounds tedious.
It can be, which is why dynamic named ranges are so useful. You set them up once, and they automatically adjust as you add or remove rows of data.
Oh, nice. So your sum product T or your charts always refer to the entire current list.
Exactly. No manual tweaking needed every time you get a new shipment in or sell something. Keeps everything accurate automatically.
Smart. And for seeing trends over time, like how stock levels change.
Simple line charts are often best for that. Just plot your stock level against dates. You can visually spot seasonal demand, see the impact of promotions, or identify slow-moving items really easily.
Makes sense. Now, I saw something about an EOQ formula. Sounds a bit intimidating. Economic order quantity.
Yeah, EOQ. It sounds more complex than the concept. Basically, it tries to find the sweet spot for how much to order at a time.
How does it do that?
It balances two costs. The cost of placing an order, like admin fees, shipping, and the cost of holding inventory. Storage, insurance, potential obsolescence. The formula calculates the order quantity that minimizes the total of those costs.
So it stops you ordering tiny amounts too often, but also stops you buying way too much that just sits there costing money.
Exactly. It's about finding that cost-effective balance. It uses your annual demand, ordering cost per order, and holding cost per unit. Square T to demand holding cost.
Okay, maybe something to explore if you really want to optimize costs. And just circling back quickly, that data validation, ensuring accuracy, crucial, right?
Absolutely crucial.
Right.
Ensuring stock quantities are always positive numbers. It's your first defense against bad data messing everything up.
Now, what about automating some of this? All the updating, reporting, can Excel help there?
Oh yeah, macros. You can record a sequence of actions like updating stock from a sales list, generating a low stock report, maybe even emailing it, and then run that whole sequence with a single click.
That could save a lot of time.
Potentially hours, especially for repetitive weekly or daily tasks. It takes a bit to set up, but the payoff in efficiency can be huge.
You mentioned index match earlier as an alternative to VLOOKUP. Why might someone use that instead?
It's generally more flexible. VLOOKUP requires the lookup value to be in the first column of your table array, which isn't always convenient. Index match doesn't have that limitation. Plus, it's less likely to break if you insert or delete columns later. A bit more robust, you can say.
Okay, good to know. And for just a really quick status check, like, do I need to reorder this now?
Simple IF statement works great. IF, stock level, reorder, sufficient, gives you an immediate text flag right next to the item. Super clear.
Nice. So if you pull all these elements together, charts, key numbers, alerts, what does that look like?
That's essentially an inventory dashboard. It's a visual summary, usually on one sheet. You'd have maybe key metrics like total inventory value, stock turnover rate, the low stock items highlighted.
Top sellers, maybe, trend charts.
Exactly. All the important stuff at a glance, so you or a manager can quickly understand the current inventory situation without digging through multiple reports.
And for analyzing costs more deeply, beyond just the total value.
SumIF is great for that. You can say, sum the total cost for all items in the electronics category, or sum the value of stock from supplier X. Helps you understand cost structures.
Similar to COUNTIF for just counting things.
Yep. COUNTIF is simpler, just counts how many items meet a criterion, like COUNTIF category range electronics, tells you how many different electronic products you stock.
Okay, now this ABC analysis sounds interesting. Prioritizing inventory.
Yeah, this is a classic inventory management technique. The idea is that usually a small percentage of your items account for a large percentage of your total inventory value. The A items.
The Pareto principle, like 80-20.
Kinda, yeah. So you calculate the total value for each item, quantity price, sort by that value descending, calculate the cumulative percentage of total value, and then categorize. Maybe the top 70–80% of value are A items, the next 15–20% are B, and the rest, the low-value bulk, are C.
And you focus most of your control efforts on the A items.
Exactly. Tightest control, most frequent checks on the A's, maybe less strict control on the C's. It focuses your limited time and resources where they matter most financially. Excel makes sorting and calculating this pretty straightforward.
Fascinating. One last tool mentioned was GoalSeek. How does that fit in?
GoalSeek is kind of like working backwards. You tell Excel, I want this cell, like number of stockouts, to be this value, say 0. And then you ask, what does this other cell, like my reorder level, need to be to achieve that?
So it helps you figure out the inputs needed to hit a specific target?
Precisely. It iteratively changes an input cell until your formula reaches the desired outcome. Useful for what-if scenarios related to your inventory goals.
Wow. Okay, so stepping back, it really seems Excel, this tool many of us just use for basic lists or calculations, has a ton of built-in capability specifically for inventory.
It really does. From just tracking stock levels to doing fairly sophisticated analysis and optimization like EOQ or ABC analysis, the power is definitely there, often just waiting to be used.
It's pretty impressive. So the key takeaway seems to be that you don't necessarily need fancy, expensive software to get started with much smarter inventory management.
Not at all. Excel provides a really solid foundation.
So here's a final thought to consider. If you implement even a couple of these Excel techniques, how much time could you genuinely save? How much potential loss from having too much stock, or worse, running out, could you actually avoid? Maybe think bigger. Where else in your work or even your life could applying this kind of structured thinking, this data analysis approach, using a tool you already know, make a real difference? This dive into Excel for inventory, it's not just about spreadsheets, is it? It feels more like a way to approach organization and make better informed decisions overall.
Well said. It's about leveraging the tools you have to work smarter.